Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Foreign's the fiance.
And we are back.
We back. This one is kind of emotionally draining. I just want to get through it and over
honestly, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
I don't even know how many jokes I can crack.
Honestly, it's... Oh, is your phone on flight mode, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm drinking... To be honest, I should be drinking alcohol for this one because it really is a tough one.
I need a line of Coke.
Honestly, it's really a tough one. But I'm drinking cinnamon and cranberry tea.
Are you testing negative?
Oh my god, guys, yeah, so update. This time last week, when we recorded, I was drinking Lemsip. Why? Because I had a cold. Turns out that cold was COVID, and your girl is still testing positive on the lateral flow. Still, like the line is thinner now. So I reckon by tomorrow, Wednesday, I'll be fine. But, fam,
does Beep have it?
No, he doesn't.
Wow.
All his lateral flows have been negative. Is that not a witch? It's about to get so sad, guys. I'm so sorry.
No, but I've actually heard about this case a lot, and I've listened to a few podcasts, and I've watched a few like Discovery ID like things on it. So it wasn't my first, but this is the first time I've actually like watched a proper long documentary on it. So
he looked familiar to me, and the story was familiar to me. So I was kind of like, oh, I've heard this before. Like, I've heard of this story. But again, seeing it in such a long form kind of like way, and like hearing from the victims' families and so on and so forth, it's like raw. Yeah. Mad.
It's peak. So this documentary opens up in, we said this the other day, not the arsehole, but the bit above the arsehole.
Yeah, it's called The Cleveland Kidnapper, this documentary, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, The Cleveland Kidnapper. But yeah, it opens up in Cleveland and we meet Bill Saffos. Bill looks like, if you've watched Big Mouth, he looks like any which one of the characters.
He does.
Nick. He looks like Nick from Big Mouth. Like, that's what Nick would look like if he was a real human.
He has a very character face. Yes, he does. That is so accurate. That is so accurate. And he's very expressive as well. So I think that also adds to...
And Nick wanted to be like a celeb as well. Wow, that's Nick.
Maybe that's Nick. Yeah, well, there you
go. So Bill is our first talking head. And there are a few, so I'm not going to like name a lot of them. I just name him because he's one of the main ones.
Yeah, there's some that I tried to write down, but some I lost it.
Yeah, no. After like the second one, I was like, oh, there are going to be a few of these. Yeah, no. So he is a television reporter, and he tells us that he's at work one day, like just doing cases, whatever. And then this woman, Luana Miller, walks in, and her daughter's gone missing. And this was on the 21st of April, 2003. And he feels this urge, like he needs to be part of this story, like he needs to do something about this case. And basically we learn about how Amanda went missing. So Amanda is Luana's daughter, and Luana's friend Terry is telling us this story about how Amanda worked at Burger King, and the neighborhood she worked in wasn't great, so Amanda wouldn't come home by herself. So this day she's on the phone to her mum, and she's waiting for somebody to pick her up, and then next thing, like, her mum can hear her interacting with someone, and then the line goes dead, and then she just doesn't come home.
That's so terrifying.
Fam. So obviously she's calling the police, like, where's my daughter?
Hello,
and they basically dismiss this as a runaway.
And like, they always do this.
They always fucking do this because they're lazy as shit. Like, they're lazy as shit. But you know what? I have a lot of admiration for, this is going to sound so bad, but I don't know if admiration is the right word, but I have to hand it to American police because they are 50 million times better than like UK police. Like, I don't know if you guys have listened to this, and this is no ad or whatever, just if you like crime and shit like that. I'm listening to a podcast called Sweet Bobby, and it's just a wild story, but it just highlights how useless the UK police are. Yeah.
And it's so crazy because like with the UK police, like the UK is like the size of my toe compared to America, who are juggling with like jurisdictions and all these county lines and shit.
States like communicate, like literally, like fucking in the UK, a case can only be solved if like all the stars align and the information, basically the evidence, just lands on their lap.
On your lap.
If there's any sort of investigation
required,
no,
it's not happening.
It's just like that. What's the name of that mixed race guy that went missing? Harvey.
Harvey Walker.
I think so. He went missing around Christmas.
Yeah.
And basically,
after going to the Little Sims concert.
Yeah, and basically, people online were tweeting about how like there've been a lot of like men going missing around that Thames area. Like they think there's a serial killer. Like these are just normal everyday people missing, but like we never found out like what the police did about it, if anything was done about it.
It was just literally, it was Twitter spreading awareness that he'd gone missing. Maybe they got a surveillance photo or something, and then next thing we know, like he's dead.
Fam.
Hey guys, it's BD on the edit. When I was editing, I realised we actually said his name wrong. His name is Harvey Parker, not Harvey Walker. And I think it's just important to put some respect on his name. So I'm just putting that in here now. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
So, we see a montage of like news broadcasts during the search for Amanda, and her mum encourages the media to keep the story out there. Like her daughter didn't run away. Let's find her. So because the police think it's a runaway, it takes them a while to kind of look closely and take it seriously. And obviously
this is what's so annoying. It's just kind of like, someone is telling you my daughter didn't run away. Like, it's not as if she has a history of running away. And even if she did, like, I feel like you should still take it seriously. This is a child that's gone missing. But, like, she has no history of running away. She literally was on her way home from work. So between her shift that ended and the phone call that she had with her mum, when did she suddenly decide, actually, fuck this, I'm going to run away? Do you get what I mean? It's like, and even
if she did run away, she's still a kid, which means she's still endangered. So you still need to find her.
She doesn't have the capacity to say, I want to be alone. Like, you still have a guardian.
So we see these news clips because something has happened in the case, and Amanda's mum is saying that she's had some contact from someone.
I get a phone call, and it's an unknown male, and just says that Maddie's with him and she's all right.
And she keeps, she does this thing that's really smart. She keeps him online for as long as possible, so on the call, because she wants to see if she can hear Mandy, but also because obviously, the police can triangulate the call.
Yeah.
So obviously everybody's on the surface, you could be like, this could be anyone, this could be just some weirdo. But the key thing for Amanda's mum is that he actually called her from Mandy's cell phone. But I just thought, can you imagine, your child has gone missing and then your phone rings and you can see her name? Oh, mate, that must have been heartbreaking.
This whole thing is just
it's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. So FBI and Quantico trace the cell tower, and the cell comes from where the cell came from, and they actually do some good work here, because they knock on every door around the tower. But I don't think it's enough to knock on every. Well, I guess you need a search warrant to search everyone, but I don't know how they knocked, because
And also, it's also a thing where it's I get knocking and asking people, but if I have her, I'm not going to say, funny you come around. She's in the basement. Yeah, literally
I've been raping her tirelessly. Please,
literally, please come through. It's so. No. I don't know. I guess there's a reason they do it, but I don't know. I guess it's more so to see if anyone else has heard. Say the neighbour had been funny, you should say that because something dodgy's going on. Anyway, neighbours are important in this documentary. We'll get into that.
So Bill tells us that obviously Luana knows about this cell tower and everything. So they, as in him and Luana, go and to this cell tower, and
the tower that the call pinged off.
Yeah, she's just standing there. And she's I can feel my daughter is close, she's alive, she's not dead. And obviously Bill's telling us that she doesn't know how right she was. They were so close. And
it's crazy. How do you have this whole mother's intuition thing? Obviously you're not a mother, so I don't get it. But it's crazy. It's just where is the line between delusion and hope and mother's intuition?
I wonder if my mum has mother's intuition. I never see that.
I don't know that. Maybe you don't see it because
from Igbo mums.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe low-key.
Because that woman will go out and she'll switch off her phone when she's going to bed.
My mum does that.
So
she said, you found your way out, you'll find your way back in.
Literally, she's listen, I've told you people to stop going out late. So she doesn't have any motherly intuition, because anything.
But then also she hasn't needed to, because what's happened to you? Nothing. So we can't then say that she doesn't have it. My mom's whole thing is, anyway, the Lord that took you out will bring you back home, and He has so far. So I'm like,
nothing's wrong with me. Like, I've been ill. My mum's never called and been like, I can sense something isn't right with you.
they don't know, man. They just call to say, oh, I had a dream. Don't go anywhere. That's all they know.
Literally. So now we're in Tremont, Cleveland, whatever, and it's predominantly a Puerto Rican community. And we learn about this Castro family. So they're a very well-respected family in the area. They have a convenience store. They were, like, the first to, like, immigrate from Puerto Rico. And they built a community.
It's so random as well, because we're hearing about Luana and Amanda and stuff, and then all of a sudden we learn about this
We're
family.
in, like, Puerto Rico.
Okay.
We're in little Puerto Rico, literally. It's wild. But it looked like a lit place to live, I'm not going to lie. Like,
yeah, it really did.
I actually wonder, because Northwest, especially where I live, is, like, very Jewish, like, I always get, like, surprised when I go to, like, South or, like, East. And it's like, oh, my gosh, it's niggas. Like,
everywhere.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, so, like, when I moved to South, I just remember being, like, raw, like, black people, just bare.
But
like,
even
it's not a rarity.
Even where you live, there are more black people than where I live, though.
Well, what, when I lived in Northwest?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I guess you have more Asians.
probably more so than what there's. Okay, there are more ethnics definitely where I live.
Yeah.
Definitely more ethnics, yeah.
Yeah. Because literally for me, it's just like straight, like, it's actually so bad that, like, whenever I see a black person walking on my street,
I must know them.
I really look at them for a long time. Then when I realise I don't know them, I'm like, what's this person doing, like, in these ends? Because
who did they come to visit? If it wasn't me, yeah.
Because I kid you not, like, my street is like a horseshoe kind of thing, yeah. On that whole horseshoe
it's true.
thing, there are three of us. There are three families.
I don't think I've ever seen another black.
Yeah, there's one woman that lives down the road. Like, when you're coming up my road, her and her daughter have the same car. So the two of them, like, Jeep little cars parked here.
Yeah.
There's that couple, that woman. And her daughter's even mixed. She was married to a white man, but I think he died. So she's one Ghanaian lady. I haven't seen her in ages. She might have even moved back to Ghana and it's just her daughter, because I haven't seen a woman in ages.
Yeah.
Then the horseshoe on the other side.
Yeah, on the other side, yeah.
That's where...
Yeah.
Lives. and he's
of course.
He's moved away, but the person that's living there is black as well. I've seen him once or twice.
So the ratio remains.
The ratio remains. It's crazy. But anyways, I saw this say it would have been really nice to grow up in an area where, like, you saw a lot of your people.
Yeah.
That would be
and
nice.
I think that's why South Londoners are so proud of South London, because it's like, imagine just like, yeah, literally just around you. You don't have to like trek to go to the hair shop, or you don't have to like trek to see someone else like you. Like, it's just all like you.
It's true. So they're this really well-respected kind of family in the area. We see, like, the uncle and the auntie and everything. And I call them uncle and auntie. But of course, they're somebody's parents and grandparents. But they are uncle and auntie to this guy called Ariel.
Oh, yeah, him. Yeah, true.
Yeah. Who
like,
lives,
literally.
who lives around that area. So in comes in Ariel's neighbour. And I love this guy.
I love him.
I'm not going to bother, like, trying to, like, say things how he says it, because we'll just insert the clips. But this guy is the, like, star of the show.
He is.
Like, I don't know if you guys watch Euphoria, but, like, he's the Lexi. Like, he is.
He's the Ethan. What do you mean? He is the motherfucking Ethan.
That episode.
Okay, well.
I only say Lexi because she was the downfall, but I haven't watched it.
Okay,
have you watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I need to watch it.
Yeah. But then you will agree, he's the Ethan.
Okay, he's the Ethan. So this guy is talking about Ariel, because I get the vibe from what he describes. Ariel's his opposite neighbor. Okay. So he keeps saying to people,
this dude next door, what's his name? Ariel. Why is his house boarded up? I don't see no air conditioning. There's got to be stifling in that house. I'm outside dying right now, right? He's like, he's Puerto Rican. Oh, you Puerto Rican. I go, I see your mother's got central air. Why is that house boarded up? You ask too many questions. Is that right?
Why is his house boarded up?
Because that's weird.
That's fucking weird for anybody. I don't give a fuck for anybody. You're either a squatter or you're hiding something.
Yeah.
Literally. And he's like, I don't see no air conditioning unit. It's hot, like, literally... It's hot as hell.
This guy, by the way, his name is Charles and he's black. So I feel like him being black puts a lot of context into this whole thing.
Why he talks like this, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the person...
And why he's suspicious as well.
Yeah. The person he's talking to is like, oh, he's Puerto Rican. And he's like, yeah, your mum's Puerto Rican. She still has air in her house. Like, what is going on? And he's like, it's got to be stifling in that house. I'm outside dying right now. Why is that house boarded up? And people are like to him, you asked too many questions. And I get the vibe. People knew something was up with this guy, but it was just like, don't ask, don't tell. Yeah. So Amanda has been missing for 6 months. Okay.
Oh, God. And she went missing just like the day before her 17th birthday or her 18th birthday or something.
Yeah.
Her 17th birthday, I think.
So the news has kind of dried up on her case, and Bill tells... the news. So it's been 6 months, and the news has kind of dried up. And Bill tells Luana that he's going to keep Mandy's face in the news. But obviously, like, Bill is a newscaster. He can't always decide what comes up in the news.
Exactly. So, like, as much as he'd like to.
Yeah, Luana would call him like crying and upset that why is Amanda not in the news, and sometimes he'd just let her rant, which I thought was really admirable, because sometimes when you're in distress, that's all you need. You just need someone that's going to let you
get
rant.
It out.
Yeah. So, because she's so distressed that the police aren't doing enough, she calls the FBI and asks them to come to her house. This woman is a bad bitch.
I love that she did this, yeah. But what is the number for FBI? What can you just call the FBI and be like, hey, brother? Because I don't understand it. Dan Schneider was calling the FBI. He even went there just for bounce.
Fuck off. Can entirely fuck off. I never want to hear that name again. I'm so sorry, but he can fuck off. Even me, I'm almost in support of those that were selling the drugs, because he was
I'm not gonna lie,
absolutely fucking too much.
That episode, for anyone new here, yeah, The Pharmacist, episodes 1 and 2, yeah, I don't know, I think it was probably the third episode we did, the third and fourth or something. It was early, fam. That guy. That was
when we didn't know to condense episodes, because
fam, and we even condensed it because there were 4 episodes. There were 4 like documentary episodes, and we did it in 2.
I'm so surprised I didn't like shoot myself in the head after that. It was intense.
Dan Schneider. But anyway, I'm glad that she called the FBI. Yeah. Clearly, it's an easy thing to do.
She called them, invited them to her house, and then Bill's like, okay, he's gonna dip, and she's like, no, you hide under the bed and you listen. And her friend hid him under the bed, and he listened to all the information they had. And I guess they did this because they knew he worked in news, so he could like leak this, and it could, I guess, make the case,
or maybe things would make more sense to him or something.
Yeah. So they steal the list of people of interest from the FBI, which is wild. So this FBI agent has a list of people of interest. They steal it, give it to Bill, and then they start spying on these people. Now, they don't find anything, but it puts Luana at ease, because she knows that, okay, that if she's not finding anything, then there really is nothing to find. So on the second, and I don't know if this is the right date because Americans are weird, but I believe it's the 2nd of April.
Oh yeah, I had to keep reading it. Like I was like, so the first one is the month. So April, this literally, I was just like, bloody hell, mate. They're the only ones that changed it. The only ones.
They're so fucking weird.
They're so extra.
Gina De Jesus goes missing in the same neighborhood with the same body type, and Bill feels immediately that these are related cases.
Also, can I just say at this point, I'm like, when Bill's like the same body type, I'm like, this is not a model casting. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I guess like, it's the same vibe though, because
like, I mean, the same age, with the same school, the same whatever. Yeah, but I'm just like, I don't know. It was just such a weird thing for him to say as like a grown man.
Because I know, but I get what he means. I don't think he actually meant body type. I
think it was the phrasing was weird. Yeah, physical build. Yeah,
literally like
him saying body type. I was like, bruh.
You know, like if you and Annette went missing,
yeah, you'd be the same build.
Yeah, literally. So I think he meant like the same build in terms of like, okay, hair, skin color, But I don't think he actually meant like, oh, she had a fat ass and no tits.
Literally, I was like, there you go for daddies.
So Gina goes missing, and he immediately thinks it's related to Mandy.
Yeah, 100%. He has no doubt in his mind.
Literally, we meet Gina's mom and Nancy, and I don't know why so many people in this like documentary like have missing teeth. Like, it's actually so wild to me.
Yeah,
like,
it's true. There's quite a few of them.
I think dental's really expensive. It must be really expensive.
It is. It's expensive here, let alone there.
No, because it's actually wild. Like, I would be mortified if like visible teeth from my mouth were missing. But
yeah. But sometimes it's like, that's it. Like, say for example, your tooth gets knocked out now, and you can't afford to get a new one. What are you actually going to do? There's no fix for that.
I would have to afford.
That's what I'm saying. But you're speaking from a place of privilege where you think you can. If there is there's nothing. We're either going to eat today or I'm going to not have a tooth.
Like, this is why they know that us girls like to tussle, because how do you even get into losing a tooth?
There's so many ways to lose a tooth.
I've been saying this for a long time yet. I honestly feel like fighting is for ugly people. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it loud, and I'm going to say it proud. I'm too cute to fight.
Yeah,
nobody's catching hands. I'm not catching hands because I'm too cute. If now that babe that tweeted about how she got into fight, she lost her hair.
I said nah. You could have. No one could have got that information out of me ever. Ever. Wigs till it grows back.
Not even information. Nobody could have even. It could never have gotten to that because I'm too cute to fight.
Yeah, I care too much about my appearance. I'm not gonna lie. It's not me. It's in like it would have to be an ambush. Because I'm not taking
me
any
as
chance.
a lone soldier. Nah, there's nothing in this life, and I bet you she was fighting over man. It's always man.
The worst reason.
The worst. So, Gina's mum is Nancy, and she basically tells us about the day Gina went missing. Gina left for school. She didn't come back, and her dad Felix says he went to the school, looked around for an hour, and they knew something was wrong. Mm-hmm. So we see news clippings of candlelight vigils, searches and police interviews. And this is why representation in all areas of life matter, because a lot of the reporters were trying to dismiss Gina's case as a runaway, so they weren't really interested. But there's this Puerto Rican reporter, and she's like, did you get her name? Because I didn't.
Lydia. I made sure I wrote it down. So she reminds me of, do you watch Abbott Elementary?
I know the one you're talking about, though. I've watched a few episodes.
The Italian teacher. Obviously, this woman's not Italian, but she gives me the same kind of vibe as that teacher. I don't remember her name.
Meanwhile, speaking of Abbott Elementary, I keep saying this. The guy that was in Everybody...
Fam, I'm not going to lie. I'm so attracted to him. Like, the thing is...
His voice alone.
Fam, he's amazing. He's actually...
of chocolate.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I've been watching the show, like, wow. Tyler,
but he's
what's
actually
that
your type. He's your type.
On paper. Like, literally, I'm just like, wow,
he's actually
Tyler,
your type. In fact,
Tyler,
he is like...
Tyler.
He's like what Beep would be if he was in Hollywood.
No, I think I feel like he would be Damson Idris if he was in Hollywood.
Okay, dancing Idris. Okay,
dancing. But that man is so fine, and the thing is that
and that's not even my type, but he
before our very eyes. Sometimes it transcends type. Sometimes it transcends.
It does, and it's his voice as well. It's
the voice is the main, and it's the vibe. It's his character.
The character.
Yes,
it's
Gregory.
All this shit, like
Gregory is who I fuck with. Literally, it's his character because he's just so like over it. He's like fam. He's above it all.
He's
like
too fine.
He's calm. I don't know if you've seen the episode, but the gif where like Quinta runs outside and it's raining and he literally runs after her and like grabs the umbrella. I was like, this is a thoughtful king. This is a thoughtful king. A tall, thoughtful king.
I bet you he's packing too.
Listen.
I would like to see it. I would. So yeah, cool. Okay, so
how did we even get here? Sorry,
I'm so distracted by
I'm actually honestly
literally I'm sweating. It's hot.
Help me, Jesus.
So obviously Lydia's like, listen, I'm gonna take this case on. They're Puerto Rican. These are my people. Let's go.
Exactly.
So she speaks to Gina's parents, and Gina's parents are adamant that like, listen, she didn't run away, and she gives them airtime like on the not airtime like she airs them, but she puts them on the TV. Yeah. The original,
the actual original meaning of airtime.
And she allows them speak and basically talk about their daughter and how they don't think she runs away. Mm-hmm. So then after this, next thing we see this girl on the screen, and I scream because this bitch is alive.
Screamed.
It's Gina.
In my notes I say, oh shit, it's Gina / Janet.
I scream and say, well, I wrote, right? And now we meet Gina De Jesus, and I screamed, this bitch is alive.
Honestly.
Why did you say / Janet?
Because on the thing, her name said Janet.
I didn't see that.
I think that's the name that he gave her in the thing.
Okay. So she's saying how, like, she kept seeing her parents on TV, and knowing they were still out there looking for her kind of, like, keeps her going.
Which is just so sweet because... So,
Gina describes the day she went missing. She went to school, like, as her mum says. And on her way home, she's with her friend. And her friend asks if she can, like, she asked her friend if she wants to come over. So her friend calls her mum and asks her mum, and her mum's like, nah, you can't come over. So they go their separate ways. So this bit was a bit weird and strange to me. And I have a few questions, but they were never answered. So they go their separate ways. Gina's walking home, and then the friend's dad pulls up and asks Gina if she's seen her daughter. And then he's like, okay, come and help me find her. Which was strange to me because you'd just seen her daughter. So just be like, oh, she walked off in that direction. Like,
yeah.
I didn't understand this. And I guess they never went into detail, but I was thinking, if they live in the same house, surely she's going back home anyways. So it was a bit
that's
weird.
The thing. I didn't know that she lived in the house with him because
I don't think she does.
Because she was calling the mum to be like, hey, blah blah blah, but yeah. Again, I also think it's like, community thing. It's like, oh, this is probably like an uncle kind of, what's it, Tio, or whatever. So she's thinking, okay, cool. Well, this is Emily's dad saying, let's go and look for her. Which, I mean, I think that was no, I don't know.
I don't think it was wrong for her to go. I
didn't think it was wrong for her to go, but I think it was a weird situation. Like, obviously, as a child, it's not a big deal. Like, I was a grown up, I know him. Like, he's
but even as an adult, I probably
home.
would do that. It's like your dad pulling up and saying, let's go look for. Like,
yeah, but then also it's like, I suppose, yeah, it's true. It's not like you were on your way somewhere. It's kind of just like, yeah, okay, cool. It's true. That's true, actually. It's true. If I saw your dad now, and even if I was going somewhere else, and he's like, oh, let's go. Yeah, come, let's let me try and call her while you.
Literally, it's true. It's true. Like, I didn't think it was strange. It was just a strange situation. But I guess as a kid, you don't tie all these things together to ask questions.
Yeah, and why would you? Yeah.
Yeah. Again, that's true. So she gets in the car, and then she notices that like he's going the wrong way. And then she tries not to panic because she's saying to herself, this is my friend's dad. Like, it's calm. Like, there's a reason.
You're trying to rationalise what you know in your heart is weird.
Literally. And he's like to her, listen, I just want to drop some stuff off at home. Then we'll go back out looking for her. So he tells her to bring out the speakers that are in the car. And then he leads her to the basement. And then he ties her up and tells her she's never going home. And then she's like, I'm not going to go into detail like as to what he did to us in that basement.
Yeah, she says to Cam, she's like, I'm not going to talk about it. And I really respect her saying that because I'm like, okay, cool, sis. Like, don't let them push you further than you're comfortable going. I know it's a documentary, but
still maintain,
Yeah, I was really happy that she said that.
So all this while, people are looking for her. And so Bill tells Lydia that he thinks these two cases are connected. And Bill keeps pushing the police and the FBI to connect the cases, but they refuse. So Bill then orchestrates a newscast where he brings the families together, gets them to talk, gets them to meet and work together, because it's like if the police aren't going to acknowledge that these cases are related, he will then put it out there in the media and let people come to their own conclusion.
Yeah, come to their own conclusion.
So basically, as the two girls, and like Bill was doing a lot, like he's another hero like in this whole documentary, because he basically is like, listen, these two girls went to the same school, like I need an employee list of everybody that works there because it must be connected somehow. So he gets the list, and on the list, there's this convicted rapist who had done his time. He'd gone to prison, served, come out and got a job in the school as a janitor. And then it's kind of sad because when he finds out, like when this guy finds out that like Bill and co want to like talk to him, he runs away and then he dies by suicide. And like Bill is like saddened because he's like, listen, he didn't have to do all of that. We just wanted to talk. Like, he'd paid his dues. He obviously like wasn't the guy.
Also, the school didn't realize that he was a convicted rapist. So
and they should have done their due diligence.
They should have. So he should have never gotten that job in the first place. But he'd gotten that job. He hadn't done anything else. He'd paid his dues to society, from what we know anyway, and whatever. So I guess for him it was more like, this big secret is coming out. I'm gonna be shunned. I'm gonna have to go away or start again or whatever. And it's just like, that's probably what led him to do what he did. But again, I get Bill feeling sad about it, but it's also just like, that's why sometimes this vigilante like way of doing things isn't always
the right way.
Yeah, it's not always the right way. And there's not just like, there's more victims than there needed to be.
Yeah. So we're back to Ariel Castro, and he joins a band. And like during this joining of the band, he goes to like, this bit was a bit unnecessary, but I just wanted to highlight this particular part. When he goes to meet the guy that like is managing the band or whatever, or one of the bandmates, the guy says, okay, cool, I'll come to your house and watch you play. He said that when he went to Ariel's house, he asked to use the bathroom and like Ariel got really, really angry and then he just left. So obviously,
he was like,
dodgy.
oh, didn't your parents teach you not to ask to use the restroom somewhere else? I'm like, no, they didn't
Like,
teach me that because I'm a human. I need to pee when I need to pee. Like,
literally, what the fuck? So anyways, he joins this band, they're playing, things are going well, blah, 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 and then they get offered a gig in Pittsburgh. And he's like, nah, I'm not going. And then this guy was like, yeah, it was really weird because he was always willing to do gigs that were like half an hour away, but nothing more. Like, he'd never do like a sleepover or anything like that. So now we meet Michelle Knight. And her story is 10 times worse. I can easily say that. So she was abducted before Amanda and Gina, but the difference is nobody was looking for her.
do you know how sad that has to... Like, I don't even know how she had the mental fortitude to go on. Like, I would have just thrown myself down some stairs or some shit because it's like, literally nobody's looking for you. Like, Gina was saying how, you know, I could see my parents on the news and I could see they loved me and they cared about me and that kept me going. Michelle had none of that. Like, Michelle had none of that.
Nada. No one.
And it was also so weird because... Oh, no, sorry, go on. I don't want to do spoilers.
So she had been abducted 2 years before Gina and Amanda. So she was living in this hellhole for 2 years. And she says so she tells us what happened in that house, which was just mental abuse, rape and torture. Mm-hmm. So she tells us about the day she got abducted. She said she needed to go to an appointment. She never really went into details about what the appointment was.
I don't even remember what it was. It was so long ago.
Fam, just a normal day that turned into hell.
Literally, running errands.
And unfortunately, she was given the wrong directions. So when she's like gone back to the shop to ask for directions, she sees her friend's dad and he's like, yo, I know where you're going. Like, I'll drop you. Again, a very normal occurrence.
Yeah.
And then...
she's 21, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
When this happens, yeah.
Once again, he starts going the wrong way. And then they're going towards his house. So she's like, what's going on? And then... he's like, oh, I want to give you like puppies. So he starts talking about puppies and he's like, I've got these puppies, like you can give one to your son, because Michelle had a kid. And then she's like, okay, cool. So they're going into the house and then she realizes something is wrong because as she enters the house, she can't hear any fucking puppies.
Yeah, and also like when he drives into the house, like he locks the gate behind the car. She's kind of like, why are you locking the gate? So she's with it, do you know what I mean? She's thinking, she's putting the pieces of the puzzle together, just not in time. So he says to her, you know, it's a bad neighborhood. Fair enough. It's a bad neighborhood. Someone can come and steal your truck. Fine, cool, tick. That validates why it is that you locked the gate.
Where are
she
the
goes
puppies?
In. There's no puppies. Yeah.
But it's too late. And he shoves her into the room, shuts the door and ties her up. So back to the black neighbor. And he's
Before we get to the black neighbor, sorry. When I found out that Michelle had a son, yeah, I was like, how was no one looking for you when you have a son? Like, how was no one looking for you?
Yeah, they didn't go into enough detail, but I tried to find out more. But yeah, it was weird. Because I also thought that, like, was he at home alone? Like,
yeah, I was like, maybe he was with her mum, because we learned about her mum a little bit later. But it's like, even if you want to say, oh, this person's a runaway, yeah, like, they had a son. Like, have they tried to leave their son before? Like, is this normal behaviour for Michelle? Like, why was no one looking for her? That's so sad.
It's very sad. So,
No, Charles.
Yeah, we're back to him. And he's saying that there's something off about Ariel. And he's watching him every day, like, trying to figure out what it is about this guy. But he can't really pick up on anything. Like, he'll go out to work, come back, nothing. But the house was just boarded up. There was something off. So Michelle says she tries to speak to Ariel, kind of like that thing you do where you try to like get your captor to like, you know, trust you. And basically he just tells her he had a horrible childhood. It's obvious that he was abused as well. And she tries to tell him that like, this isn't just because it happened to you, you don't have to do it to others, but that doesn't work. So this bit is really sad. Luana's like desperate at this point. So she goes to meet this psychic called Sylvia Brown, and like, remember, Luana is the mother of Amanda who went missing. And so she goes to meet Sylvia Brown, and Sylvia says, I'm so sorry to tell you, like, she does her psychic shit, and she's like, yeah, your daughter's dead, she's in water. And after this, Luana just gets really sick and she passes away without knowing what happened to her daughter. And I feel like she died from heartbreak. Because it's happened to someone in my family. I feel like you can die from heartbreak, and this guy died from or this woman died from heartbreak. It was very sad, and it's even worse not knowing that, like, your daughter, whether she was alive or what.
And the thing is that, like, she was so sure that her daughter was still alive. Like, she had held out hope for so long, and she was so convinced, like, the conviction of, like, yeah, my daughter's alive. She had that. And then, like, some random psychic comes to say, oh, yeah, no, she's dead, she's in water. And it's like, that has now shattered your belief that you've had, and that's kept you going for so long. And she wasn't even right.
Yeah. So Michelle tells us that she got pregnant 5 times.
Oh, my God.
And then she was like,
I had ended up getting pregnant about 5 times. They were all aborted in abusive ways. Some starved. Some I was beat. I was thrown downstairs. I was also hit with a barbell more than once. He told me that we could never have a kid here. It'll be too loud.
so basically she's like to him, bro, so then why do you keep getting these girls pregnant if you don't want us to have kids?
Like...
So for some reason, like, not for some reason, but Amanda gets pregnant in December of 2006. And for some reason, he, like, lets her keep it. And then Ariel basically says, I don't know, maybe at this point he actually wanted a kid. Because he basically says to Michelle, like, you're going to deliver this baby. And if it dies or gets hurt, I'm going to kill you. And, like, he would play a lot of, like, mind games against these kids, these girls. Because he'd be like, you know, if you run away, I'm going to kill this person and this, da-da-da-da. So,
and it's like they're the only people that they've had, so they've really built a bond. Part of me just feels like, I'm not gonna lie, fuck it. So if you have to die, you have to die. Like, it's you or me, because I'm getting the fuck
out of this
ASAP.
bitch.
Literally.
So Michelle helps deliver a healthy baby, and it's a girl. And after the baby's born, I guess he softens, or I don't think he softens. I think he feels like he's scared them enough that they won't.
There's
run
emotional
away.
chains. There's emotional chains, and he's done that so well now.
So
like,
well that they're going to be... Yeah. They're going to stay put.
It's like the whole thing with the whole, like, R. Kelly and Joycelyn and all them girls. Like, no one was holding them there. They weren't held hostage. They were free to go at any time. But they just felt, not in the same... This is a different kind of manipulation, I guess. But they just felt like they wanted to be there. Even though they were free to go, their parents were saying, come.
Yeah, but they felt they had to, So... the emotional abuse continued, and it just kept him in the house because he'd removed the chains now.
Yeah.
So we see a composite sketch of Ariel, and they never really tell us where they get this sketch from or what leads to this sketch coming about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, oh, we have this sketch.
From who? Who are the witnesses? Like, what? Where did we get this from?
When this sketch is shown to Gina's family, they recognize him, but they can't put their finger on where from. So... after Luana has died, in a really cute way, Gina's dad takes on, like, the search for Amanda as well. Like, he always says, like, you need to bring our girls home, you know. And the interest in the kidnapping dies down as it's been 4 years. 4 fucking years, mate.
That's wild.
So, in 2012, police get a letter from a man called Robert Walford saying that he killed and buried Amanda. So they do a search in the area and find nothing. And it was plausible because the area where he said he buried them was close to, like, it was within the cell tower range. So it made sense.
Yeah.
But later he admits that he lied because he wanted to get out of the prison he was in and move somewhere else. Fucking idiot. So this day randomly comes where they escape. And, like, the day starts off because they have this kid, Jocelyn, and she's older now, and, like, they make Ariel has made them take on different names because Jocelyn's watching TV, she's seen stuff, and, like, he doesn't want her to put 2 and 2 together and realize that, oh, like, his mum is Amanda Berry, who's trapped in, like, the closet. Fucking yeah. So it's all the same vibe, to be fair.
It really is.
Literally
It really
same
is.
abusive vibe.
One abuser to another, literally.
Fam. So Jocelyn basically has freedom to go, like, around the house, in and out. And, like, Charles is saying that he sees Ariel sometimes with Jocelyn. And he just thinks, oh, like, that's his granddaughter. Like, he's a good granddad. Not knowing that it's his kid.
That's his kid, yeah.
So there's this day when Jocelyn comes in and she's like, I can't find Daddy. Like, he's not home. And Amanda's like, huh? And she's like, go and check everywhere. And Jocelyn checks everywhere. She's like, Daddy's not home. Amanda runs. And, like, Gina's like, bruh, Michelle's
I'm not
like,
risking it. What if it's a trap? Gina's like, Gina, I think, is the most, and I guess she was the youngest one. She's like, what if it's a trap?
Yeah. I ain't finna go. That's on you. And like, she says she hears bang, 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 bang. And I was even wondering, like, what happened? And basically, Amanda is like banging on the door because she's gotten to the front door and it's locked. So all these neighbours are coming out, looking at her. Nobody wants to help. And then Charles comes out. And Charles is so funny. I'm going to tell you what the gist of what Charles says, but I also think we should insert like
100%.
the whole clip of him discussing.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So
Start of the show.
Fam.
I'm at home, and I hear this banging, bang, 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 bang. And I look out my window, and I see my neighbors in the middle of the street, but they're not looking at me. They're looking at the house next door. So now I open my door, I come outside. What are you looking at? Bang, bang, bang. Oh, there's that. What is going on? What is that? They say it's some girl. She want to get out the house. Then what did you help her? We're not going to get involved in that. We don't know her. Ugh. So I go off my porch, right? What is the problem? And I need to get out of here. Then get out. And I can't. He's got the door locked. Or chained up, rather. I said, oh, God. All right. So I got a Big Mac in my hand, just like McDonald's. So, debate. Help. The girl I don't know. $4 hamburger I just bought. I know the hamburger, just bought it. I don't know you. All right, here we go. Put the hamburger down. Destroy the door. She comes out. She comes out with a little girl. I say, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not with the kidnapping. What's the little girl? Because in my head, that's Ariel's granddaughter. Who are you? What? I'm stopping her from pulling her own daughter out of her house.
Charles is basically saying he comes out and he just got this Big Mac. Mm-hmm. So he's looking at the $4 burger. He's looking at this babe. And he's like, I don't know this babe, but I know this burger.
I know this burger.
Literally, he's like, what am I finna do? So this girl is screaming like, I need to get out of the house. I need to get out of the house. So Charles is like, oh, fuck. So he helps her out of the house. Mm-hmm. And then she brings this kid with him who he thinks is Ariel's daughter. He's like, listen, hold on.
Don't come and kidnap anyone.
But I'm not finna do no kidnapping. And she's like, this is my daughter. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, you know what? Here's the phone. Call the police.
Cleveland 911. Hello, police. Help me, I'm Amanda Berry. You need police, fire, or ambulance? I'm the police. Okay, and what's going on there? I've been kidnapped, and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here. I'm free now. Hello? Yeah, talk to the police when they get there.
She's not getting the reaction that she thinks she needs to get.
She's like, I have been missing for 10 years.
10 years at this point, you know.
Literally, whoever's on the call is just very, like, monotone.
He was not around 10 years ago.
I guess they're trained to be that way. Like, they're not meant to, like,
no, but the thing is, I understand that and I get that. But the thing is that, like, she was saying, I'm Amanda Berry, as in, like, it's like Madeleine McCann calling and saying, hey, I'm Madeleine McCann. Anyone trained or not would have been like, did you say Madeleine McCann?
Yeah,
he had no reaction. He was like, okay, like, why is this bitch telling me her name so many times? Like, he literally was just like,
Mariah Carey, like,
literally,
okay.
He was like, okay, and
and she's like, you need to send the fucking police now before this guy comes back, because none of the other neighbors were trying to help. So he could have dragged her by the hair back into the house.
Exactly, and and it would have been right back to square one.
Fam. So the police come, luckily, before Ariel gets home. And, like, there's this police officer who obviously is very, like, knows Gina's family and everything. And we see body cam footage of them going into the house. And, like, they go to save Gina and Michelle. And it's so emotional. This police officer's crying. And I start crying as well. Because, like, he's just saying, like, do you know how long we've been looking for you? And she's like, I know, I saw, like, I'm so happy, save me, like, take me from here. Michelle says she, like, runs into one of their arms. She runs into his arms.
Literally, she's like, never let me go, never let me go. Like,
literally.
Michelle's been there for 12 years. 12 years. Nah. This man is mad.
So we see, like, the homecoming and, like, the reunion between, like, Gina and Amanda and their families, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. But Michelle didn't have a homecoming because nobody was looking for her. Like, so basically her mum did come and report her missing, and they're like, okay, come back. They actually said to her, come back and, you know, provide this information. She never came back. She never chased. Like, and that was just it.
Yeah.
And, like, Michelle's son had gone into, like, the foster care system, and he'd been adopted, and he had no clue who his legal like birth mother was. And basically Michelle like said that she didn't have any support system after, because her family like and her had cut ties long, like even before she went missing, and nothing changed after she was found.
I mean, I guess because she wasn't in their lives anyway.
Yeah.
There's one bit that I want to bring up where basically before Luana died, she gave Bill Safos, Nick, she gave him a shirt and tie and was like, listen, like, you're going to report the fact that Gina has come home, and when you do, you're going to wear this. And so when there was a homecoming, I think one of the other news reporters was like, oh, remember that shirt and tie? So he got it and he wore it when he was reporting them coming home. And it was just such a full circle moment. Like, Luana could kind of be there in that moment a little bit, because she's the one who got it for him, and, you know, she actually was right that her daughter was alive.
She always knew that.
Yeah.
And the way Bill was emotional, it was actually very sad.
Yeah. This was more than a case to him. It's more than a story. Yeah.
So the police go into the house, and the windows are all boarded up. They're heavy and rusty chains everywhere. The house is disgusting.
It's not the kind of house that you would just raid just because. Clearly,
Literally.
there's suspicious activity going on there.
Fam,
Clearly.
If it's not trapping people in the
if it's not drugs, then it would have been
then it's
literally.
Drugs, then it's something. It's something. So, Ariel had driven the school bus, but they'd missed him off that employee list because he was a former employee, not current. And when we see Ariel's police interview, he basically says that he gets them into the house and forcibly restrains them and has sexual encounters, but he doesn't call it rape.
He said he doesn't rape them, he coerced them.
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, we've been saying this for time. Coercion is rape. You shouldn't have to convince somebody to have sex with you. You shouldn't have to sort of threaten violence or whatever for them to have sex with you. That's rape.
Yeah. So he gets 1,000 years in prison, but after 30 days he hangs himself. And the irony of that is that, like, you entrapped prison people for like a total of like
decades,
over a decade, and then you can't even hack 30 days. You have to like hang yourself. Crazy.
And the thing is with him as well, that was so wild, that he knew Gina's dad. Like, he knew Gina's dad. Like, it was all a community. It's like, he knew him. That's why when they were saying, oh, this guy looks familiar, they knew him. You're in my face. You know that my daughter's in your basement. You're in my face.
Yeah. So we kind of see what happens to them after Amanda Berry joins Fox 8 as a newscaster, and she's working on missing people's cases. Gina works in the Cleveland Family kind of association for missing children and adults. And then Michelle has a non-profit which helps women abuse out of transition out of abusive lives. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense, what I just said?
Transition out. Oh, yeah, abusive situations, I guess.
Yeah. And basically I did some Googs. Amanda and Gina don't talk to Michelle. And I've seen another documentary about this case, and it focused more on like their lives before they were kidnapped and all of that. And Michelle was, let's just say, not an easy person to deal with. So I can kind of understand why the other two don't speak to her. But it's also sad because they shared this experience. They came out together, and to some extent, they must have supported each other through that. Like, Michelle delivered Amanda's baby, so it's crazy that they don't speak. But yeah.
And also, I think it's so interesting that Amanda wasn't in the documentary. Like, there was footage of her when they spoke about her non-profit and not a non-profit, her hosting on Fox or whatever. But she wasn't actually a part of the documentary, and I feel like that was
stuff were there.
Yeah, I feel like that was like a choice. I don't know what happened with that or what the reasons behind that was, but she literally didn't appear as like present day Amanda in the documentary, whereas Gina and Michelle both did. So
I did Google that and I couldn't find anything around why she didn't. I personally think that I think she just was tired of talking about it at that point, because she's done other stuff. Like, she's written a book, she's done other interviews, so it's not like like she didn't want to talk about it ever.
I mean, and it's her prerogative. Like, she can decide if she wants to speak about it or not. And I think Michelle because I think the only reason, low-key, that they were okay with Gina not speaking about her trauma in that house is because Michelle was there to do it, as in terms of from her point of view. So, you know, that was a heavy one. But now it's time for
the real crime, I think, was the beard.
Our new segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. Have you got one?
I've said it already. It's just the toothlessness.
The toothlessness. So I have two. One is the number of M&M posters in Amanda's room. Like when they were first talking about Amanda West's room, there were like 5 M&M posters. I said, bro, how many M&M posters does one need?
It makes sense though. It makes sense.
It does. I mean, it seems very on brand for who she was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
makes a lot of sense.
But I said
she even had the
eyebrow thing, yeah. And she has a picture of her with cameras as well. Yeah, I was just like, I said, wow, how many places? And then the other thing, as lovely and touching and full circle moment as it was, that shirt and tie combo was fucking ugly. I said, Bill,
Luana,
I get
please.
it.
You can't tie somebody to wearing such an ugly
combination. Like, I said the shirt on its own ugly, the tie on its own ugly, but together,
fam, it was
wild.
Kalam.
But that's what I'm saying. Bill Sappos
on news.
Bruh, it lives forever. But Bill Sappos he's a good guy because not only did he like really try his best throughout this whole thing and really help, he actually wore that suit and tie combo as he said he would. So, yeah.
I would not. But yeah, I agree with you on all counts, but the toothlessness definitely bothered me. Like, please.
I think it didn't really surprise me that much because honestly, what are you going to do? Like, I have to get an implant and they were telling me it's going to be like £3,000 and I still haven't got it. If that was, to be honest, if it was visible, I would have got it by now. Do you have
a tooth missing though?
I had a tooth taken out and there was no baby tooth underneath. So they were like, I need to get, look here.
Let me see, move your finger.
Can you hear?
That's where my mum has one missing, but it's not like...
I'm talking, but I feel like if it was like a front tooth, I would have found the money and I would have gone without food.
I would have gotten a credit card just for that. Like,
just for that. Yeah, it's true. Again, privilege, because imagine being able to get a credit card. Not everybody can.
That's true. I have dreams where my teeth fall out and I always wake up in the morning like...
Yeah, it's because you're a very tooth person.
I have multiple dreams.
I've also read
that like if you have dreams about your teeth falling out, it's because you feel like you're not in control of your life.
Oh, really? Mm. But I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're in control of your teeth, clearly.
Yeah.
So what are we doing next? Next, we are doing Downfall, the case against Boeing. I watched it. I think it's quite interesting. I don't know how you'll feel about it, but we're going to do it anyway because I think it raises some good points.
I mean, I'm happy because it's not my vibe, but... Yeah.
It's a lot of technical stuff, so that I kind of was like zoned out throughout. But the facts of the case remain, and I think that's going to be interesting to discuss.
I look forward to it.
It came out recently on Netflix. I'm going to play the trailer for you guys. In the meantime, between time, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok at 2girls1doc and also 2girls1doc@gmail.com. And you can also find us here next week with another episode for you.
Leave us reviews, write us emails, and hopefully we will do credits reading them all out.
Exactly. Also, guys, if you're listening on Apple, our artwork is our old artwork, and I've been trying to get them to change it properly for ages. It's so weird because on iTunes it's correct, like it's the new one, but it's just on Apple Podcasts it's not. And I've sent them emails and like I've done everything they've said, it's not working. So it's really frustrating me. It's been the bane of my life for like 6 months. But I'm working on it because it should be the same. I feel like when we post stuff on like Twitter and stuff, if people go on Apple Podcasts, they're like, this isn't the same podcast, but it is. It is the same podcast.
Yeah.
But guys, all right then, hopefully next time we come here my lateral flows will be negative. Until then, pray for me, y'all.
All right then, guys, it's been real.
Yeah.
Bye.
I don't remember the time. Quite early in the morning, my husband prepared his flight bag. We had a meal. That was the normal routine before he left for his flight. After a few hours, I got a call from one of his colleagues. We are not able to find his aircraft.
Fly up! Fly up!
The Indonesian investigators found the black boxes.
It records a very comprehensive tally of what happened on the airplane.
Something was putting repeated nose-down pressure on the airplane.
And then there was another crash, this time in Ethiopia.
Safety is at the core of who we are at Boeing.
2 crashes of brand new airplanes within 5 months of each other, that doesn't happen in modern aviation.
And the question was, did Boeing put an unsafe plane in the air?
Boeing waged a pretty vigorous public relations campaign.
There was a blame game going on.
They talked about Jedi mind tricking regulators.
Who brings a lobbyist to a safety meeting? Boeing knew pilots had a monster waiting for them. It's just unconscionable to me.
The families of the victims expected answers.
To the relatives who have lost loved ones, if you could please stand.
But Boeing actively tried to keep emails and documents out of the public domain.
They have essentially ignored the families of the victims.
We shouldn't expect pilots to have to compensate for flawed designs. These crews would have been fighting for their lives in the fight of their lives.
This is the cost of doing business as usual.